Humility is the most beautiful gift to be happy.
What goes around comes around. Sharing a bit of happiness makes it happen.
Why do people struggle to smile? Since you've written on smiling, and smiling is so beautiful, so why do people struggle to smile?
We all are overgrown 6-year-olds. And whatever makes a 6-year-old child happy will make us happy too.
If you're a millionaire and a billionaire, of what use is it if you can't smile? That even if you give somebody a million or a billion to go to yesterday or to go to tomorrow, they can't.
True.
But all the time, we are going because our mind is the rascal who can take us to a yesterday and to a tomorrow.
Mind is the reason or the interface which can completely destroy you or it can completely make you happy, taking care of itself with the intellect and self working together.
So I just give everybody a ball and I tell people, I'm happy to give you this bag free. You take this bag and just go and give everybody a ball and make them smile. MIND is misery, ignorance, negativity, and desires. If you have only HAPPY, you can't be happy. Real happiness is only when you have enjoy pleasure,
Right?
but this does not mean that we should give up any happiness. But on the other hand, if there's only pleasure and there's no peace, then you can't be happy because peace is the foundation of happiness.
See,
But Satchitanand, as you said, is only possible when you reach the purpose of life.
the more you try to bind it, the monkey will start jumping because the monkey cannot bear the thought that it is bound. So once you start ignoring the monkey, it rests calmly and goes and sits somewhere. It doesn't bother you at all.
The world is missing this. The world doesn't know the meaning of true love.
I can be happy or sad. It entirely depends on me. That is why we have Atman I can be my worst enemy. I can be my best friend. I can be successful or failure, just as I decide.
मंत्र जीने का शांति आनंद प्यार सूत्र जीने का शांति आनंद प्यार. What are we all seeking? It essentially we are seeking peace, love, and bliss. Good evening, friends. Welcome to an amazing, happy evening with Kriss Venugopal. Kriss Venugopal is an Indian actor, an author, lawyer, voice coach, known for his roles in Malayalam cinema and television. He has written over 95 books. I also seem to have written many books, but he seems to beat me. And is a certified hypnotherapist. He has won several awards. He has acted in over 26 Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu, and Hindi movies, as well as in several serials.
AiR. Atman in Ravi.
Happiness Ambassador.
A spiritual mentor,
transformational author,
and a philanthropist.
Kriss, if I keep talking about you, the whole podcast will get over. So welcome with this short introduction. Kriss is a multifaceted person known around the world, and it's a great pleasure, an honor, privilege to have him here. I wish he was here with me, but we are doing it on Zoom. So hope we have an amazing hour podcast, and we'll be talking on happiness. So Kriss, welcome.
Thank you very much, AiR. If I have to say, all these things does not matter when it comes to defining happiness. And you're one yogi who has defined happiness, so I stand one step behind you.
You're very humble. Thank you. Humility is the most beautiful gift to be happy.
Thank you very much for
You have
that.
written a book on smiles. I'd like to ask you, Why do people struggle to smile? Since you've written on smiling, and smiling is so beautiful, so why do people struggle to smile?
For the past at least about 10 years, all my 3,650 odd poems are based on smiles because somewhere people are tense with their own lives. They seem to overthink and overindulge in their own matters and lose that smile. So in 2015, when I was in very a kind of a testing time, I wouldn't call trouble or something. I would call a testing time. So that testing time, when there was no one to say that it's okay, just smile, things will be okay. I decided if I can say that to people, then the world would be a little better place. And today, every morning when I write those 8 lines, that makes me smile, and those who read it, they also tend to smile. So the whole network of WhatsApp and other forwards, people are forwarding it. I came to know that these poems travel the world when somebody else forwarded me my poem 2 days later, saying that please smile. So that was a happy moment when I understood that smiles can work that way. What goes around comes around.
And
So I
smile,
do believe sharing a bit of happiness makes it happen.
and the beauty is a smile doesn't cost anything.
Very,
And I tell people, if you're a millionaire and a billionaire, of what use is it if you can't smile?
very true. Because
You know,
millionaires and
I
billionaires
like to
mostly they would be
share
worried
with you before I
about their
ask you.
money.
To me, I tell people, smile is an acronym, which is S, you spread sunshine when you smile. M, you make others happy. And I, you inspire people to be enthusiastic. And L is you lower levels of negativity. And E, most important, you ensure your own happiness. Because
Very
if you are smiling,
beautiful.
you can't be unhappy. I find it ironical that you can't be unhappy and happy at the same time. So tell
Every
me more
time,
about
yeah, every time I write those poems, it ends with a line saying, "Live life full HD." Now, HD, usually people take it for the tech side says high definition, but I say it is happy days. So live life with happy
wow.
days. So that's live life full HD. That's been going around. That's more like my signature. Now people say, oh, the HD message has not come.
It's so good when you have somebody who is dedicating their life to spreading happiness. If the world had more such happiness, I call it happiness ambassadors. I wish that people would be able to spread. Whenever I meet somebody, this is in impromptu, I carry a bag of smiley balls. And
I have
whoever
two
I
of them now.
meet, so I just give everybody a ball. And I tell people, I'm happy to give you this bag free. You take this bag and just go and give everybody a ball and make them smile. Because I think this is what makes a big difference. But tell me, you talk so much about the present moment in your book. I was reading, glancing since we were talking today. I think there's a book called Smiles and Moments, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you speak of this, right? In the book, you say, give,
Yeah.
forgive, forget, find peace, and cherish the simple joys from a tender memory.
Yeah.
Let us know something about this.
Uh, as a psychologist, I strongly believe we all are overgrown 6-year-olds. And whatever makes a 6-year-old child happy will make us happy too. But we have worn a mask called maturity that we won't smile at those simple things. But if we are alone and given an ice cream or a lollipop or a candy, we will relish it like a 6-year-old child. Now, living in the present moment is forgetting that whether I'm 60 or 6, but enjoying that moment and be ready to smile. Because whenever I went through a hard phase, whenever I had moments to cry, probably there wouldn't be people to come around and say that, come, I'm there with you. But when you're laughing, when you're smiling, there'll be more people with you, and you will feel more supported. You will feel more wanted, and life becomes better. That was the reason why I said live in the present moment, uh, like forgive, forget, and completely leave everything to time. And we know that we cannot change the past. We know that we cannot make a future. At least make the present so good that when you think tomorrow, you had a happy time yesterday.
Beautiful. And isn't it funny that even if you give somebody a million or a billion to go to yesterday or to go to tomorrow, they can't.
True.
But all the time, we are going because our mind is the rascal who can take us to a yesterday and to a tomorrow. Correct? So I want to
Yes.
know a little bit about what you think of the mind. I have written several books. All my books are also similar to yours. It's on happiness and spirituality. But tell
Yes.
me, people are confused about the mind. What have you written in your book about the mind? I think there's a book called The Mind.
Yeah. I would strongly relate to the teachings from Bhagavad Gita, which gives me a reason why the mind works so. Because in it, it says, in order to protect from the external stimuli, to protect the body, we have the five senses. And to protect the senses, we have the mind. And to protect the mind, we have the intellect. And to protect the intellect, we have the self. So mind is more of an interface, like a software and a computer, which can be corrupted so easily. And once it is corrupted, the intellect won't work and the self cannot protect your body. So the mind is the reason or the interface which can completely destroy you, or it can completely make you happy, taking care of itself with the intellect and self working together. So the moment you let your mind go off in a track which is not good, coming back is also possible, but most people don't come back. Once they are gone astray, they're completely gone. Then they need a lot of efforts to come back. That is the sad plight what I've seen. And though we say, please don't mind, I don't mind, mind it, and talk a lot about the mind, nobody knows where the mind is or how the mind is. And they just don't mind anything about the mind.
I love it. I'm happy to be talking to you because very few people
The pleasure is mine.
link their mind, spirituality, happiness. To me, MIND is misery, ignorance, negativity, and desires. In fact, I have
Right.
a hand, I wear a band called BBC, and this band, it says BBC, bring back consciousness. So,
Oh, right.
so people struggle to. Every time I wear this band, I don't need to wear it because I'm always in consciousness, but I give it to people. Every time the mind kidnaps, if it kidnaps consciousness, how do you come back to that state of awareness, that state of being happy? So for me,
Right.
I say BBC, bring back consciousness.
Now,
And Chris,
at
like you
that
beautifully
moment,
said,
there was a particular technical paper. It was a paper on hypnosis, Indian roots to hypnosis, which I happened to present at the staff conferences in Canada. So in that, what I'm trying to find out is, in Ramayana, we have four different characters which are totally different from everybody else. Ravan with 10 heads, Vibhishana with one head. Though he's a brother, he should have at least had five or six or maybe at least two, but he had only one. And we had a Kumbhakarna whose stomach was so big that stomach touched the ear. That's why he's called Kumbhakarna. And Shurpanakha, who changes from a demoness to a beautiful lady. So this happens to be the best lesson in psychology, and the understanding of Ramayana can bring about a change in a person's life because Ravana is a conscious mind. Now, in 1978, when Howard Gardner defined the 10 intelligences, we had already talked about the 10 intelligences with Ravana because he built Lanka, he made the Rudraveena, he composed poems, he had personal relationship with Mandori, which was so good. He did not touch Sita, so interpersonal, intrapersonal, ethical, logical, spatial, visual, mathematical, every 10 intelligences is what you call Ravana. So the Ravana is the conscious mind. Now, Vibhishana is he has only one head because there are no intelligences based on the subconscious mind, where he works only on the virtues. And he actually tells Ravana, the conscious mind, that please don't fight. Uh, he is Rama, so if you fight, then this will happen. So he is a virtue store bank. The subconscious mind is just a virtue store bank, and there you don't have intelligence. Then you have the Kumbhakarna who can take in anything. He has a huge stomach. He can digest anything and store everything. And he's always sleeping, and that's the unconscious mind. Now, the unconscious mind that's why we call the power of unconscious now, because even if you have a sprained leg, when a dog chases you, you can run because the Kumbhakarna will get up and he will help you. The unconscious mind works. Now, Shurpanakha is a mind-body relationship. If your mind has gone wrong, then you will fall sick. That's why she becomes a demoness. When the mind has gone wrong, she becomes a demoness, and otherwise she is the most beautiful woman. Now, these four people, they are actually one entity. It's one person's mind, the four facets of the mind. And that person, he has a tip between the Jivatma and Paramatma, Rama and Sita. Now, the conscious mind takes away the Jivatma towards all the worldly things. Now, if you completely trust, like Sita trusted Ram, because she always said Rama will come and protect me, then what happens is the Paramatma will come and save you. So that complete submission is what Ramayana is talking about, and psychology is hidden in the form of Ravana, Vibhishana, Shurpanakha, and Kumbhakarna. So that was my paper, which won me a Best Speaker Award. But at the same time, I'm more happy that we have so much of knowledge left behind by our forefathers, and we don't even look at it. Even though all the answers are already found, we tend to have forgotten or lost in translation.
Actually, I think the interpretation of mythological stories, we are taking it too literally, and because we take it literally, we don't understand that what is the secret or the message, the essence that lies
True.
behind it, right? So, for
Yeah.
example, when you're talking about Lord Krishna and Arjuna, people are not understanding that how could that conversation happen in the battlefield. So it's not that the battle is happening and people are still and they're having some spiritual dialogue, but the message, the essence. If we talk of the Upanishads and the Vedas, the entire Sanatana Dharma can be summarized in 12 words. If
Mhm.
only we are able to focus on Neti, Neti, Tattvamasi, and then we go on to Ayam Atma Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma, Ayam Brahmasmi, it will let us reach that state of eternal happiness, which because of we are in a state of truth consciousness. But like you said, you're a hypnotherapist, you've studied about the mind, you've done a lot of study. But I often ask people, if I give you a ball, you know it is yellow, you know it is round, but what is the shape of the mind? What is the color of the mind? And they start blinking. Some of them say it's like that. I say, no, I'm not talking of the brain. Don't confuse. I'm asking, what is the mind? And they start wondering. They say, I haven't seen the mind. I've seen the kidneys, I've seen the lungs, I've seen the brain. I said, you haven't seen the mind because it actually doesn't exist. It is a bundle of toxic thoughts that appear to be the mind. So lots of, I think we will need to have one more conversation when either we meet face to face on the spiritual
Just on the
angle of
mind.
life, and because, huh?
I strongly believe that everything, like if you take the Bhagavad Gita, if you want science, it is there. If you want math, it is there. If you want philosophy, it's there. If you want psychology, it is there. So, whatever text we are talking about, spirituality or philosophy, everything has been converged at a point way back in time. That is the only problem.
But
Because spirituality, we
today,
think,
since we are talking
is
about,
it.
sorry,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Spirituality, as we talk about it, people have mistook it for wearing a particular color of cloth or thinking on particular religious beliefs or maybe reading a religious text. I strongly look at the word religion, become a slave again to the system. That's all. And spirituality is far from that. Religion and spirituality are far two different things, because being spiritual does not amount to anything related to, say, what the religion says. So I do believe if a person is following a religion, that
So what we do is we'll have another conversation on spirituality and religion. But today, since we are talking on happiness, I don't want to lose the plot. I just want to say one thing, since you spoke about it. Religion is a kindergarten. The university is spirituality, which means
yes,
that you cannot
which
realize
is very
God without religion. But you cannot realize God with religion. You have to leave
yeah.
religion
You
and
have
you
to
have to
pass.
grow beyond to the truth. Yeah. So today we will get back to happiness, and then one more
Yes,
conversation, probably not on Zoom, but face to face, where we'll have a
in
deep
person. Yes,
conversation on
yes.
spiritual subjects. So Chris, tell me one more thing. To me, I'm just stating what I have written and I'm asking you to take it from there. The mind, actually, which doesn't exist, it makes us blind. And our happiness is left behind because it creates what I call the seven miseries: fear, worry, stress, anxiety, regret, shame, and guilt. And then, apart from these seven miseries, it ignites the ego and creates seven monsters of anger, hate, revenge, jealousy, pride, greed, and selfishness. Now, if a human being has to face these 14 monsters and miseries, he's doomed. So, what do you feel about the toxic thoughts of the mind and the ego? How does one deal with this? I have my understanding, but I want to hear your way. How do you deal with it?
Uh, I fall back to the 33 types of happiness, well defined in Dharma. Uh, we call the Supreme as Satchidananda, which is a combination of Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Sat is when we do good to others or when we are done good by somebody else. Chit is when your mind is happy with what you're doing, and Ananda is the bliss when you do meditation. So, taking Sat, if I go to a geriatric center or a cancer ward and help people, when I come back home, though there was a lot of misery there, somehow I feel that my day was worth it and I become happy. Now, if somebody helps me, like I was thirsty and somebody gave me a cup of water, I will think of that person, whether he's good, bad, black, white, or anything. I would be happy that he gave me water when I needed. So I'll be happy about it. Now, chit, when I write a poem, when I paint a picture, or when I take a photograph, or when I do a selfie, whatever, all those things is for the mind, but I don't want the approval of anybody else. I become happy otherwise. And Ananda, the bliss, is actually when we meditate, like when we focus on some thought and being it a good thought, and you sit for a long time contemplating on it, you become happy because you get answers from it. So these three things, the science calls it as serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin. These are the chemicals which make you happy, and these chemicals are released when you help somebody. That is the first one. When you do something, a work of art, and third, when you are meditating. So that is the three different kinds of happiness, and which is actually acting with the substrate, like the five elements, the five senses, and the mind. So we have 33 different types of happiness in our life, which is always fought against by Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Mada, Malsarya, which is 6 into 11. We have 66 types of happiness, and this fight goes on, which is called the Deva Asura Yuddha. The Devas are the happiness quotients, and the Asuras are what makes you not so happy, or the Asura quotient. So, this is my understanding about the fight which happens inside our head between happiness and sadness.
Beautiful, so beautiful. I mean, I'm
Thank
enjoying talking to you because, Chris, what you say, the problem is when the mind, which is a bundle of toxic thoughts, if you look at what Bhagavad Gita talks about, the five senses are to be controlled by the mind. But the mind, you said, has to be controlled by the intellect. And
by the
ultimately,
intellect.
the Sarathi, and the
That's
Sarathi
it.
is the charioteer, is the self,
Yes.
right? So So, unless we reach that state of composition, of awareness, the Buddhists call it mindfulness. You must be familiar to this, right?
Yes.
But in that state of consciousness, I believe, we still the mind. When you still the mind, you kill the mind. Now, it's a little paradoxical because how can you kill the mind which does not exist? But actually, just like a gushing river which is gushing, at that time you can't build a dam because
True.
the powerful toxic thoughts of the mind are so powerful, they drill us and they kill us. People talk of AK-47. I tell people more dangerous than AK-47 is the MK-50, the mind killer 50, because it is shooting at us 50 toxic thoughts every minute, and this can be 50,000 thoughts a day. How do you deal with it? Sometimes, Chris, it may be one nuisance, one thought. So you know how it is nagging. When something is nagging you or me, that same thought, that same keeps on drilling. Or sometimes it may be just the monkey mind, I call it the monkey mind, that's jumping
Yes.
into yesterday that is gone, tomorrow not yet born. And because of the monkey, ironical, the word monkey has within it the word monk. So the monkey has monk. But that tail, the EY, when we cut off the tail, the monkey becomes a monk. And that EY is the mind which which I say EY, ever yelling, ever yearning, constantly, so much noise. You spoke of a word called meditation. Today, it's become like a fad, but people don't understand. If meditation can become an addiction, it can be the greatest benediction, because people are addicted to drinks and cigarettes and drugs, and today the kids are addicted to these gadgets. But meditation, it slows down the mind, and therefore you find peace. So I want to ask you, have you created any mantra? I don't know if you have come across. I have changed the way people spell happy. Have you heard of this or not?
The three P's. Yes.
Okay, beautiful. So I tell people, if you have only HAPPY, you can't be happy. Real happiness, as you said, you use a beautiful term called Sat Chit Anand. Real happiness is only when you have enjoy pleasure. A lot of people think, oh, Chris, you look like a very divine with your beautiful long beard. You look so amazingly divine. I must tell you, I feel complex. I should start doing it. But you look really divine. But this does not mean that we should give up any happiness. I think the little I know of you, you advocate the fact that we should enjoy pleasure. We should not become a sannyasi or should not become a tapasvi. That is not the way to happiness. But on the other hand, if there's only pleasure and there's no peace, then you can't be happy, because peace is the foundation of happiness. But Satchitanand, as you said, is only possible when you reach the purpose of life, when you are able to reach the self, when you are in that self-consciousness. Then Sat, I use the same Satchitanand with a different understanding. It's the same essence. Sat, I say, is the truth. Chit is consciousness. And when you are in Sat Chit, truth consciousness, then there is no option but to enjoy Ananda. Because, So tell me, what is your mantra of happiness? Is there a mantra you would give people for happiness?
For me, more than mantra, like as you said right now, the way we understand what we were taught through our scripture, to our knowledge, I would say. I won't call it scriptures, I would call it the knowledge base they had left behind. Now, the word Tattvamasi. Now, everybody says it means you and me are one. Yeah, the oneness is good, very beautiful. But can it be also taught like Tattvam, Asi, which means I am the essence? Now, if you start understanding, I am the essence of life, then there is no problem. So, when you understand Tatvamasi in a different way, in the same way, sannyasa is like when you're living a life happily, you're a sannyasi. You're living a life happily. You're not hurting anyone. You're living your life happily. It's just a sannyasa. And tapasvi, tapa is actually the heat. If you're ready to take the heat of life, yeah, you're a tapasvi. So every word they spoke, they had so a deep knowledge inside it. I always, in my classes, I say, uh, you have the mind, which is called mana, which means it is not me. Ma-na. Mama means me, na means it's not. So mana means it's not me. Whatever is not me is the mind. That's the easy way to define it. Now, our culture talks about namakarana, which is a boy or a girl getting a name. Now, when the name is given, they say namakarana, which actually telling the child that for the time being, we are giving your soul this name, nama. It is not you. Just don't get stuck to the name, what you have. Just like when you said, when you got off the plane, Ravi is no more. Atman and Ravi got aware. So that Namakarana, it was reversed. You understood or realized that, yeah, the real essence of the Atman. So for me, more than mantra, whatever you're saying, even if you're saying gibberish, anything gibberish, if you keep saying that and believe that that is happiness, the same mind which gave you all that poison will convert that into a nectar and make you happy. Because whatever you're doing, if you're doing it again and again and again and again and again, and not hurting anyone else, then whatever you speak is a mantra. Whatever you think is a good thought. Because you're decided that you're not going to hurt anyone else. But at the same
Beautiful,
time,
very beautiful.
there are a lot of people who will think that what I'm doing is bad for them and they will start working on that. They will throw so many stones at you. Those pelted stones, you have to be a tapasvi then. You'll have to take the heat of life. Then you can become a sannyasi. For that, the base is that I should understand Tattvam Asi. I'm the essence of life, so I don't have to worry about it.
Now, as I told you, your spiritual angle is something I never knew because all the books I thought were mostly on smile and happiness, and you have actually taken the carpet under my feet because
Oh,
I'm
no,
really
no.
amazed at the way you're looking at it. You know, honestly, Chris, I don't know how you feel, but today there's a lot of ignorance. Unfortunately, we remain a fool because of what we were taught in school. We were
Right.
taught the lie that God lives in the sky. We were taught the lie that success is equal to happiness. So what does every mother and father tell a child? Beta, come first in class. Huh? You must become school captain. Huh? Acha job, you must get good job. Huh? Make me proud of your success. But this is the biggest lie. Success is not happiness. If success was happiness, then all the successful people in this world should be the happiest people. But unfortunately, their life is full of worry and stress. It's a mess. I'm
I
not
take the
saying that they're
answer
not
from
enjoying. Yeah.
I take the answer from what you said because religion is the kindergarten and spirituality is the university degree. So, in the kindergarten, we are taught that God is in the sky. We are taught that the sun rises in the east. But when you reach the university, you know that the sun does not rise at all. It stays there and the earth is moving around it. So, then you develop the understanding that the apparent direction where we see the sun, we call it east, and there is nothing called east. So that realization comes when you're in the university. So I strongly believe that ignorance is because they want the kindergarten certificate again and again. They just are stuck there. They don't want to come above it.
But we don't remain in kindergarten. No, Chris, we go from kindergarten to school and college. But why do we get stuck where life is concerned? Don't you agree? Do you find? I find that there's so much opportunity for people to learn the meaning of life. LIFE is liberation from ignorance and finding enlightenment. Now, when you talk
Right.
to people on being enlightened, some people think, oh, something very mystical. something very magical. Nothing is nothing mystical. What is to be enlightened? It is to wake up. It is to switch on. Enlighten is to switch on the light. You know, you spoke about the three P's, which I explained.
Yes.
I've written another book. It's called The Three Peaks of Happiness. The first peak is achievement. The second peak is fulfillment, where you are living with peace and contentment. But the third peak is enlightenment. Because when you reach that peak, then what you said, you reach that state of nirvana or Satchidananda, where there is eternal happiness. So tell me, since you are such an advanced philosopher, I want you to comment on eternal happiness. When I spoke to some celebrities, they laughed at me. अरे क्या बात करता है? Bollywood celebrities told me, eternal happiness कैसा हो सकता है? What is the meaning? So tell me what you think about eternal happiness.
Yeah. Somewhere down the lane, a drop from the Paramatma started a journey. It started wearing different clothes, changed clothes, smaller ones, bigger ones, torn ones, good ones, and somewhere realized that I don't want these clothes and go back. It goes back to the Paramatma, which is eternal. Now, the eternal happiness is understanding that the dress doesn't matter. So, when Bhagavad Gita says, body is just a Jirna Vastra, you just change it and you go to a new life. The soul is eternal. So, eternal happiness is being happy in the soul, what you are given as a gift from above. So, once you understand that, even if somebody shouts at you, you will feel that, yeah, his ignorance, it's okay. The time I got married, everyone made fun of me. They made fun of my beard. They made fun that I'm pretty old. I'm not good enough. They talked a lot about it. But I strongly believe they don't know me. It's okay. No problem. Let them, whenever the soul is happy, the soul which is eternal and everlasting, that happiness can be termed as everlasting happiness. And probably we don't even recognize the soul or the self. That is why people laugh at eternal happiness. Eternal happiness is not for your body, it's not for your mind, it's not for your intellect, it's not for your senses, it is only for yourself or the soul, which actually is the Atman. Probably you have found the eternal happiness, and that's why you are AiR now.
Thank you, beautiful. And what you're saying, just to explain it, the scriptures tell us that we suffer three things. We suffer pain of the body, we suffer misery of the mind, and we suffer the agony of the ego. Unfortunately, we don't pay attention that this body came later. We came 9 months before when we were conceived. Then we cannot change our mother. Once we are implanted in our mother's womb, so therefore the body came later. And one day, the body will go, the body will die. And people will say, you passed away. So this body that suffers pain, this is exactly Tattvamasi, the way you said, we are not this body. And like we said, the mind, which creates so much misery, you can't find the mind. And Kriss, when the ego that creates I and you, this ego creates so much agony. Just to share quickly before we leave this subject, the world has so much anger, hate, revenge, and jealousy. But why, Kriss? If, for example, if my tongue was bitten by my teeth, would my fist break my teeth? No. Because I am conscious that the tongue and the teeth is me. But the Russians are willing to kill the Ukrainians. And people are willing to destroy each other only because of the duality. When we say that we are the essential Atma, that's why did that Atma give us Satchidananda? Because the Atma is full of peace, love, and bliss. Unfortunately, the world is missing this. The world doesn't know the meaning of true love. For example, you can't go tell somebody, I love you. You get a slap. How dare you say I love you? But every scripture talks of love. I tell people, I love you all. Because the moment you are the Atma, then one Atma and the other Atma both are essentially Paramatma. Two different waves are the same ocean. But back, I don't want to lose today's conversation. I want to stick to the happiness aspect. So, peace, love, and bliss, the essence of the soul, every soul is blessed with these three. But because of layers of ignorance, again the spiritual uh, commentary will be different. But because of the body, the mind, the ego, we are losing this eternal happiness, which you very well recognized, and you beautifully said it is there in the Atma. Before I hand over to you, a lot of people ask me how to find peace of mind. And I tell them, peace you don't have to find. Peace is within. Just still your mind. Peace you will find. For where there is a peace of mind, a small peace of mind, there can be no peace of mind. If there's a mind, there is no peace. And if there is a peace, then there is no mind. But tell me, what else you think can help people on the journey of happiness?
When we are going with the mind and happiness together, I'm reminded of the Vietnamese monk Tisha Khan. So he actually said, he also said, mind is a monkey. Now, the only thing he wanted us to do, meditation is not binding the monkey and tying it to a tree. The more you try to bind it, the monkey will start jumping because the monkey cannot bear the thought that it is bound. So once you start ignoring the monkey, once you start ignoring the mind, it rests calmly and goes and sits somewhere. It doesn't bother you at all. So the lesson is to ignore the mind rather than trying to bind the mind to something. That is why more than meditation, mindfulness has become an easy way because mindfulness is ignoring the monkey. Meditation is telling the monkey, sit there. It is training the monkey to sit at a place. It is very difficult. But ignoring the monkey is very simple. I don't want to see the monkey at all. There were many times when I went to a particular ashram in Ravana. So whenever I go there, a lot of monkeys come. Now everybody gets scared and they start shooing the monkey, and the monkeys will take away something from them. Now before entering the ashram itself, I buy 8 packets of biscuit. Now I open the biscuit and I start giving the monkeys. They're so very happy. They take it and they go away. They don't want to hurt me at all. Next time they see me, they come and they sit on my shoulder and take the biscuit and go. So the mind only wants that. You feed it what it wants and it'll go and sit somewhere. So that ignoring the mind is probably the happiness we are all seeking.
I appreciate what you say. Maybe one more thing is that the methods may be different. We may take a path which is going from the left or a path going to the right. But ultimately, I don't know if you heard of this old lady. This old lady, she used to tell her nephew, every day I'm going up to the mountain because I've kept many animals there, and she would come back in the evening. And to the nephew, as he grew up, every day this old lady goes taking care of animals and coming back. One day he followed her. When he followed her, he found she went up to the top of the mountain and she sat quietly. And after 2-3 hours, she opened her eyes. He told her, Amma, what you told me you come here to take care of animals, where are the animals you are talking of? Then she told the boy, my dear, you don't know. I have to train 2 hawks. They are the 2 eyes. These 2 eyes of mine are all the time like prowling like hawks. I have to discipline one snake, the tongue. I come here to discipline. Then I have 2 eagles, my hands. I have to calm them. 2 wild rabbits, my feet that are walking here and there. 1 donkey, the body. 1 monkey, the mind. And 1 lion. He said, well, what lion? He said, the ego. So she told him, I come up to the mountain every day. Of course, as I told you, the methods are different. But there are all these animals inside us. And if we don't tame these animals, then Chris, what happens is we continue to suffer. And what do? Suffering, like the Buddha said, this samsara is dukkha. You can't escape from dukkha. Why don't you tell me A lot of people question why bad things happen to good people. Why is there suffering in the world? Since you're so spiritual, sticking to the point of unhappiness, why do people suffer? What is your understanding?
I can be happy or sad. It entirely depends on. That is why we have Uddhare Atmanam Natmanam Avasarye Atman I can be my worst enemy, I can be my best friend. I can be successful or a failure just as I decide. Because the happiness is when I understand what I do is what I want to do. If you don't do what you really intend to do, yeah, you might get sad. If you overdo things, then you might feel bad. So it is just the balance what we require to be happy. And earlier, for one of your questions, when we were talking about every religion teaches love, Kabir Das, when he said, "Podhi pada pada jagmuwa, pandit bhaye na koe, bhaiya kar prem ka pandit pade su pandit hoye." So when Kabir Das said that, he meant it because a pandit is a composed person. He knows what life is all about. He has studied life and he understood what it is. So the lesson is the 2.5 letters of love. And once you learn that, you've learned everything. So once you start loving everything, how can you be sad? Now, in Atma Vicharam, one of my first, that's my first book. So in that, there is a chapter where what is true love? Now, when a dad expects something from a son, it is a trade. When a son expects something from a mother, it's a trade. When a husband expects something from a wife, it's a trade. Everything is business. You give me this, you give me that. You give me this, you give me that. That kind of a trade is happening. But the only place where you find nothing really wanted is when you have a pet dog. The dog doesn't expect anything from you. It keeps wagging its tail. That is true love. It doesn't expect water. It doesn't expect food. Even if you don't give, it keeps loving. So the lesson you have to learn that कुत्ते की तरह पीछे पड़ा है. That's the right word. Yes, he's unconditionally in love. That is why we say
Beautiful.
कुत्ते की तरह पीछे पड़ा. तो
Beautiful.
हमें कुत्ता बनना सीखना है. So where the dog actually protects, it takes care, it sees your emotions, it actually takes care of your mind, everything unconditionally. So that is true love.
And true love, I've written a book. My book is called True Love is Bliss, not just a kiss. You know, people don't understand
True.
true love. The word true love is transcendental, rainbow of 7 colors, unconditional and eternal. Love is longing of the soul, which is very passionate and creates an ecstasy of joy. Today, the world doesn't understand eternal happiness because they think I should be loved for love to give happiness. No. Like you said, the kutta is happy. The dog is happy loving. So therefore, if we can change our paradigm, I I create happiness in loving without expecting, then that love can be divine. It can be divine. It can be very beautiful. And you touched it so beautifully. I was asking you something, but you changed the trajectory to a more profound subject that true love is happiness. And in one of my songs, I think you speak Hindi, recently I released a song. It says, मंत्र जीने का शांति आनंद प्यार, सूत्र जीने का शांति आनंद प्यार. What are we all seeking? It essentially we are seeking peace, love, and bliss. But Chris, I was asking you, do you believe that there is trauma in this world also because of karma? Do you accept that karma is that if you have done something either in the recent past or long ago, whether you believe since you are spiritual, even in the previous life, do you believe that we have to settle our karma and suffering can also be because of karma? What is your view on this?
Uh, to those who believe, yes. To those who don't believe, no. The reason is, I always like that story where a Ram devotee went to Buddha and said, I have been praying to Ram all these years. Now, what if Ram is not there? So Buddha said, Ram is not there. So that guy ran off. And students were all happy. They didn't have to pray. Everything is stopped because God is not there. Now, by evening, a Charvaka who was actually lived this life proving that God did not exist. Now, he came to Buddha and said, Buddha, I have lived my life, earned everything that I have, saying that God is not there. Now, what if God is there? Now, Buddha said, God is there. He ran off. Now, the students got really confused and बुद्धा से आके पूछे कि गुरुदेव आपने सुबह कहा भगवान नहीं है और शाम को कह रहे हैं कि भगवान है तो क्या सच है So Buddha said the whole essence of life is that search. For a Ram devotee, he doesn't want to hear that God does not exist. He will keep searching for his existence. That will give him the essence of life. For a Charvaka, he has been saying that God is not there. He will live his life searching for that proof that God is not there. So let him live his life. So Buddha only wanted to give the essence of life. And that essence of life is what makes them happy. So the happiness is in that search for what you really want. If you're in search of yourself, the moment you find it out, then after that there is nothing to do. Your mission on earth is over. So that search is what
Beautiful.
keeps us going. And probably we are searching something so big that however much we search, we only end up finding a droplet. But
No, what
should
you
we
say
be
very beautiful.
sad
That's
that
why
we
what
found
Buddha
only a
said.
droplet? At least we found a droplet.
What you said, Buddha, that's why his entire philosophy was about dukkha and how to overcome dukkha. And he left people confused. He tells shunyata. He said shunyata, emptiness, and then he said anatta. So what he said anatta, again I said we are drifting into spirituality, but his essence was nirvana. And many Buddhists don't understand that nirvana is what you and me were speaking about, that state of eternal happiness. How can we be eternally happy? You know, Chris, before I close, I'll leave you with whatever you would like to say. But the whole world, Chinese want noodles, Americans want burgers, Italians want pasta, but everybody wants happiness. Somebody wants to be an Ambani or Adani, somebody wants to be a Donald Trump or a Modi. Whether you want to be in power or you want money or you want fame, essentially everybody wants to be happy. And the funny thing is that you don't have to say, I want to be happy. Because when you run after happiness, you can't be happy. Happiness is your birthright. You can be happy. So I tell people, when you wake up in the morning, the people who talk about manifestations, they say, wake up in the morning and say, I want happiness, I seek happiness, and I seek happiness is going to come to me. I tell people, when you wake up in the morning, just say, I choose to be happy. Don't say, I want to be happy. Because if you choose to be happy, you can just be happy. I don't know whether you've heard this, I love to say this. I choose to be happy today. Though the skies are cloudy and grey, no matter what comes my way, oh, there will be many things that people say. Despite all that, I choose to be happy today. Because all we have is today. You know, yesterday, you must have heard this, somebody told me, yesterday is history and tomorrow is a mystery. So I was just sitting, you know, how we take people for granted. So I said, "Arey, what a cliche. Kitne baar suna hai yaar." But my ego got a kick when they said, yesterday is history, tomorrow is mystery. Today is a pastry. Enjoy the pastry. So I loved it. I said because I was peaceful and I listened. So we can choose to be happy. And you're such a happiness ambassador. You radiate happiness. As I said, I would love to meet you. I don't know when. I'll ask them to send you my number, and let's see if we can meet and we can have a proper communication. But I have said this. My closing comment is: happiness is a choice, and people can just choose to be happy or unhappy. I wrote a book, very interesting. The book is titled Unhappiness is a Choice. And I got stuck because they could not produce a good cover. So they produced this book, Unhappiness is a Choice. And I put the shadow and turned it around, and happiness is the choice too. And the smiley,
Very.
I just, because we got stuck. So unhappiness is a choice, but if you turn around,
Happiness is a choice.
happiness is.
Very.
Over to you. It was lovely listening to you, but I want your closing comments because people would love to hear you, and you are such a blessing and such a privilege to talk to you.
I would say the past 1 hour, which is about 3 or 4 minutes less, but still, the past 1 hour is happiness month. It is actually a seed for that eternal happiness deep within. And as you said, even if the sky is cloudy and even if people come against me, I choose to be happy. There is a very famous poem by Bharatiya, and in which he says, Achamillai, Achamillai, Achaminbadillaye, Ijjagathilullor Munnil Vandu Ninra Podilum, Achamillai, Achamillai, Achaminbadillaye, Uchimidu Vaanidindu Veelugintra Podilum, Achamillai, Achamillai, Achaminbadillaye. He says, I'm fearless. I don't fear anything. Even if the clouds fall on my head, I don't fear anything. Even if the whole world is against me, I don't fear anything. That state is happiness. When you don't fear what is coming towards you. Because whatever comes, let it come. And as we know, if I am the essence of life, whatever is coming towards me is what is meant to come. So why not be happy that I'm meant to take it? And the key to happiness is probably understanding the pains you already had and moving ahead, saying that, yeah, I had to undergo that. I have undergone that. Now I'm better. From kindergarten, I got my pass mark. I went to the first standard, second standard, slowly coming to the university.
So beautiful. So, and you are such a blissful and divine soul. I can see in you that radiance of happiness. You know, before we let people go, people must realize that if we don't reach that state of contentment, fulfilling our need, and if there's always greed, then we'll always have unfulfilled desires and there'll be disappointments. So it's not that we should not enjoy life, but I think evolving from achievement to fulfillment to that eternal happiness that comes from enlightenment, which you radiate, is a beautiful journey. Thank you so much, Kriss Venugopal. That
Thank
was
you very much,
our amazing friend on Zoom today. And friends, I'm promising you that we will try to get Kriss for a live one-to-one session, and wherever it's convenient
Would
to
be
you,
happy.
people would look forward to this conversation. Thank you,
Thank you,
Kriss.
thank
Thank you
you.
for this lovely hour, for
Thank
the
you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for patiently listening to the video. And if you have questions, if you want to contact me, just WhatsApp me on 98451 55555. WhatsApp India 919845155555. 55555. But if you want to get answers to your questions, then come on Zoom, and the Zoom ID is on your screen. Every day at 8, you will find answers to all the difficult questions of life. See you there.